Hi there, good afternoon, happy Saturday everyone. This is Faye Lawand, New Zealand's trusted internal conflict resolution expert. Coming to you live from beautiful Tea Point, which is just about 15 or so minutes outside Matakana. So definitely a place surrounded by nature, definitely a place where you can hear the rhythms of nature and be in sync with the rhythms of nature. Crispin and I are here for the weekend to practice what we preach and spend a little time resetting and recharging, because the reset and the recharge is such important aspect, such an important pillar of resilience. It's such an important pillar of transforming the experience of stress. Resetting the nervous system is one of the fundamental steps that I teach in my 7-step protocol to transforming stress. And let me talk to you why about this is so important. You know, you've heard me talk a lot before about how stress is not the problem, because it really is not the problem. Stress has a lot of adaptive benefits. Stress can be a real fuel when it is channeled and harnessed appropriately, and also, as importantly, is when we take time to reset after a stressful week, after a stressful episode, after a pressure deadline, after a heightened conversation, to just allow ourself, our mind, our nervous system, our brain to spend a little more time in the opposite mode of the fight-flight response. Hello everyone, how are you? Just type down below where you're joining us from, which corner of the world, and what questions you have about resetting the nervous system and also transforming stress. So this weekend we are spending time in nature. So there's many ways that you can reset the nervous system. You know, some obvious ways are through meditation and yoga. I mean, meditation and mindfulness practices I feel are and advocate and evangelize for their non-negotiables in the fast-paced world in which we live, and which many of us love. Practices such as yoga and deep breathing and essential oils and all of those practices that nourish the nervous system are so important to incorporate daily, regularly, and consistently into our days in order to keep the nervous system soothed and robust. But also spending time in nature. And for me, that's one of my favorite ways to reset the nervous system. I found myself immediately today, once we arrived here, just being surrounded by nature, by the sound of birds and the smells and the sights of trees and greenery and the sound of lapping waves. Immediately I felt my breath deepen. Immediately I felt it lower. Immediately I felt the rib cage expand and the diaphragm kick in. There is something so stabilizing and re-energizing and rebalancing about being in nature. You know, your senses are fully engaged when you're in nature. There's so many sights and colors to be absorbed in. There's so many smells, the smells of nature. Right now I'm smelling the smell of the ocean, the smell of the pine trees, the smell of flowers. There's so many beautiful sounds that my senses are latching onto. There's also the feeling of the sun on my skin, the feeling of the salt on my face, the taste of the salt in my mouth, the taste of perspiration and sweat as well. And you know, when your senses are this engaged in the present moment, like the way that they are when you are in nature, your mind can't wander. You know, your mind becomes present, it becomes steady. And when the mind is steady and stable, it's not like drifting into the past where, you know, you're like ruminating and, you know, you're replaying an old story. When you're in the present, you're not, you know, future casting and future projecting and creating all sorts of scenarios imagining all sorts of worst case scenarios that then end up creating a physiological response that could be experienced as panic and anxiety. So, and for most of, well, I mean, for us here in New Zealand, we are so bloody fortunate to be surrounded by nature. Like nature is at our doorstep, and so it's such an immediate resource. It's such an immediate access for resetting the nervous system, boosting resilience, and transforming stress. And yet, unfortunately, I don't know how many of us take advantage of it as much as we could be in order to be reaping its benefits. I know that for many of us in different corners of the globe, immediate access to nature isn't as readily available as it is for us here in New Zealand and, maybe other places from which you're listening. But, intending for it and actually going out of your way to spend time in nature, or even just surrounding yourself by, the sounds of nature on a YouTube recording or on an Insight Timer recording, that also has the effect of slowing down the brain waves. And when your brain waves slow down, there's so much healing that happens internally inside the brain to your thought processes, to the smart centers of your brain. I mean, there's something so incredibly energizing about being in nature. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to leave you with those seeds for contemplation around one of my preferred methods for resetting the nervous system. As I said, it does not have to be time in nature, as long as you are considering how you are resetting the nervous system so that you're not overly spending time in the fight, flight, sympathetic mode of functioning, but you're also allowing time to be in the other part of your mind, the other part of your brain where spontaneous healing happens and spontaneous creativity and spontaneous kind of feeling of ease and well-being naturally emerge and arise. Let me know your thoughts about this. Let me know how you reset your nervous system. Let me know what questions you have about resetting the nervous system and about transforming stress, and also what questions you might have about my other 7 steps to transforming stress. Because, it's not about managing stress, it's about transforming it. You can do all your diaphragmatic breaths, and you can do all of your green smoothies, and you can do all of your adrenal tonics, in an attempt to manage stress. But if you're still carrying around a mindset that you need to avoid stress, that stress is damaging, that you need to escape it, you're not actually harnessing the incredible resilience promoting benefits of stress. So I'll be talking to you a lot more about that in the days and the weeks to come. This is very much in line with my mission in life, very much in line with my new branding and rebranding. Stay tuned, all will be revealed very, very soon. Until we connect again, everyone, be well. Have a lovely weekend wherever you are. And here, I'll just leave you with a few beautiful sounds and a few beautiful scenes from nature. And I'll just be quiet to allow you to take this in. Bye for now.